So Ray, listen, I know you've had the opportunity to speak as a real estate and financial markets trainer with companies associated with people may know Robert Kiyosaki and Scott McGilvery over the past 20 years or so, and also done a lot of, your individual consulting with thousands of your clients, including myself. The one thing I wanted to ask you specifically is, and what I've seen and even what was an issue with me, but what was the one obstacle with investors that you found with your clients over the years?
Well, the one thing that stops almost everybody is a lack of confidence.
Right.
You see that in all kinds of areas of life.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically when you're talking about, managing your RRSP, your retirement, looking at taking equity from your home and investing that in something. There's so much pressure on that people have a lot of fear, and justifiably so. So over the years, kind of what I've seen is once people can get a bit of information about a broad variety of topics, and I know you asked me to come out on the fourth, and that's clearly what I'm going to do, is give some information about the financial markets.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do with inside of those RRSPs? Yeah, you can invest in mutual funds, but you have other options. Most people don't know. You can definitely self-direct. A lot of people are aware of that you can self-direct. You can buy stocks, make your own portfolio. You can just buy ETFs if you want, things that will mimic a lot of mutual funds and just save a couple percentage points.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't seem like a lot, but over 20 years, when you compound that, it's massive.
Mm-hmm.
So, doing mortgages, doing real estate development projects, you can participate in those projects inside of a registered account, TFSAs, RESPs, RSPs, all that stuff. So we want to talk a bit about that so people know what their options are. And then outside of RRSPs, you have a lot more options. There's not as many restrictions on what you can do. So some of the stuff you've been doing, we show people an example of a simple flip or an income property.
Mm-hmm.
When I started with those smaller projects, just like you're doing. So, I think if we could start there and give people some options,
Mm-hmm.
all I really want to get out of any training that I do is to give people enough information that they can then go and dive in a bit more, get some information and dip their toe in the water. Maybe just get a start and start seeing some results, because unfortunately, and this is nothing against your pension fund I'm sure is doing better than most, but the challenge is they're directly tied to the overall markets. If they're well diversified, if the whole market goes up, they do well. If the whole market goes down, they don't do so well.
Mm-hmm.
So, how can you have some other areas to be able to kind of shore up any type of, volatility that might be happening in one area of your retirement planning? So, just give some options that people can kind of get started and see some results.
Yeah. And that's where I'm excited, because selfishly, I asked you if you would volunteer and come out and speak to, my work. And, I'm appreciative that you said yes, but it's just being able to explain and articulate what those options are. And I know, like, I'm very passionate and excited about real estate, and I can talk about that, but there's a whole other side and different options that are available that I'm not aware of, and I'm going to be learning on the fourth too. So, like, I'm excited to even just hear you speak, because where I've known you is about 3-4 years ago now. It was a 3-day event. So,
right.
And I just know how good you are at educating and really teaching and just articulating the facts out to people and inspire people to really get a plan. So I'm hoping that you can do that on the fourth and just show people different options that are available and maybe dive into some numbers and practical examples.
Yeah, we'll definitely break down some specific examples. Right. And I can stick around afterwards as well and do a couple case studies. If the real fun of doing this is when people want to look at, how do I do this? And if we can break down an example for them, it's amazing. Because, you've talked about this before, and I know you get excited with this. You're a little sick, by the way. Yeah, you've taken the ball and run with this. Right. Because it is fairly simple. It's not complex. But if you haven't done it before, it's like getting on a motorbike for the first time. When I started riding dirt bikes, it's scary if you've never done it. First time you fire a firearm. That's there are things that are out there that you want some support when you go through that process for the first time.
For sure.
And most of the clients over the years that I've talked to really liken this to getting in physical shape. It's not complicated. You watch a little bit what you eat, you do a little more activity, and imagine you can get in shape. But so many people just feel like, it can't happen. Well, we want to make sure that people have some basic strategies and a plan that they can avoid the pitfalls that many people kind of fall into. So that's kind of where I'll focus.
Nice. Well, I'm excited, and I know, you say I'm sick, but I started off with, just a few guys at work that were interested in investing and different options and that sort of thing. So when I asked you and you agreed, I started telling people, and it kind of morphed into something a little bit bigger. And I didn't tell you, but part of this podcast that we're doing, I'm actually going to take a clip and just send it out to the service so they can kind of get an idea of what we're going to be presenting or what you're going to be presenting. So, but yeah, I'm excited to get everything rolling for May 4th.
It doesn't surprise me. Your enthusiasm is a little contagious. I'm sure you've gotten people excited about it. I hope we don't overpromise and underdeliver. But I mean, really, again, it's just about having that simple, basic plan, some examples of what people can do. I know you've actually got, with the association, a long-term learning process put in place. When we were talking with Barry about the Enrich program. So It sounds like you've got a great program to be able to help people. And if this just helps people get excited and get into that program and dive in, all the better.
And it's just a topic that's not normally talked about at work, right?
Sure.
So, I mean, it's just an opportunity, take it or leave it kind of thing. And hopefully, I know I'm looking forward to it. So, but yeah, so that's May 4th. But the second question I wanted to ask you was,